Welcome to Rugby and all that glitters is gold or silver tonight, because we're joined by two trophies and the legends that won it for Leeds this weekend. Luke, Gale, Richie, Myler. Fantastic achievement, boys. Congratulations.
Cheers. Yeah, it's been a fair old weekend. It took a while to sink in, I reckon, probably till Monday morning, but great achievement. And yeah, real good weekend, and happy to come in and join you with the silverware.
And Richie, your name will go down in history as the Lance Todd winner. When did you become a full-time fullback?
When he joined. I know. To be fair, I thought Gale was brilliant. I think if the vote would have been on the 78th minute, maybe he would have gone his way. But no, I'm honoured to have won it, and it was a great weekend.
Mate, it's been a weird season because you were due to sign for Toronto. The news were out. Obviously, that all went Pete Tong, and you really did play your way back into the club, not being able to let you go. I know Jack Walker's injuries obviously give you a big opportunity, but you made that position your own. Did you think when the chips were down a bit at Leeds, you think, you know what, I want to prove myself, I want to be at this club, or were you happy to leave?
No, I never wanted to leave. I was loving my time here, and obviously, I thought in the pre-season, obviously when Gale came in, and I thought the way we was going, my role was going to evolve a little bit and play a different role as such. But no, I mean, he's phenomenal at leading the team around. Obviously, he's our skipper now at the moment. Well, now, and the way he manages the game, it just frees me up to do my own thing. So, no, like I say, I started off at 9, which was interesting. I didn't like the tackling, I'll tell you that now. Get me out of that quick. But then, like I say, unfortunately, someone gets injured and I get a chance to play there. But I'm just happy to be playing, whether it be 6, 7, 9, 1, whatever. So, no, whatever's best to play. But
it's probably too humble to say. Look, I come in and I delivered Richie's shirt the night before Wembley, and we spoke. And I come in and look, he could have just sulked and threw his toys out of pram and gone and said, but he put his hand up and said, look, Rich, I'll play anywhere. As I say, started off at hooker, and to be fair, you were probably his best hooker at one point. Sorry, dog. But then obviously Jack got injured, and then since he's kind of coming at fullback, he hasn't looked back. He's been outstanding, and I love playing with him. You can see the relationship growing week in, week out, and as I mentioned when I give him his shirt, I was honoured to give him it because how good he's been, and it's not been easy on the pitch for him. The last year, I'll be the first one to say that, and how it comes back, and it's crazy. We'll talk about this today. How life in rugby league, as I say, a year ago, he's probably chips are down, and he's come back and won a Lance Todd. So it just shows you, kind of never give up and be a good bloke and do what's best for the team, not for yourself, and look where it gets you.
One thing I loved this weekend, Saturday morning, I was flicking through Twitter, and Jason Robinson put a tweet out about you saying, for all them kids that don't make academy, don't make scholarship, don't make it into the first team, look at this lad today leading the team out at Wembley of his hometown club. And because you started off at Leeds and you had to go elsewhere, down Doncaster, London, Bradford, Castleford, and you finally come back to Leeds. What did it mean to you and your family leading the team out your hometown club?
It's incredible, and the journey has been incredible. I actually saw the tweet. I gave Jason a message saying, no, really nice. I thought it was a really nice message. It's been an incredible journey. You start off there behind Rob and Dan, you've kind of got no chance, and you kind of plot your career. But I'm thankful for all them places. I was actually saying, I played Richie, I think I was 19, 20 years old. I played at Doncaster, he played at Salford. They beat us 66-10 in the Northern Rail Cup final. And
2008, that was
2008, yeah. They had a right team, we got hammered. Craig Harrison were actually the owner of Doncaster. And yeah, it's been an incredible journey, and as you say, I'm thankful to lead the boys out, and 32 years old captain, and ended up bringing that back as well. So no, it's been incredible, and a journey I'm proud of.
Mate, talk to me about your relationship with Rich Agar, because I used to get stuck into you at Cast because you were like holding Del Powell's pocket around, and you were like his little love child, and you'd be stood there, you, Milo and Powell would be stood there discussing, basically picking team between you, and obviously you've left Daz and you've come over to the Rhinos. How's your relationship with Richie Agar? Because I can imagine sometimes it could get a bit heated, because I know how strong a personality you are.
Yeah, look, I probably Richard probably tell you, but I wear me out on my sleeve, and I'm kind of an emotional character.
The best bit about Gale, right? He can spray you in the same sentence, praise you at the same time. Like I remember in the game at the weekend, he goes, when that ball ends up and it's gone, hey, Dickie, you're better than that. But come on, you can win this game. You're like, what?
I looked at him, right, and I swear I looked at him, and he knew I was looking for him. I said, Dickie, you're better than that. You're miles better than that. Come on, you'll have to go win at the game now. And we've got to play that left edge. But I put him under, because I put him under a lot of pressure because I know how good he is.
Yeah.
So I don't ever say anything to him that I know he can't do. So we'll go. Some of our conversations, if we could be mic'd up in a game, it'd be genius.
You caught one ball over your shoulder, a bomb. It just kept going and going and going, and you wonder it, and you had to run back and caught over his shoulder.
They were peppering you, to be fair, weren't they?
It's the best bit about fullback, that, you know, catching eye bombs, honestly.
But yeah, we're Rich. We've had a couple of good ones, haven't we, this year?
Yeah, I think because you, in the nicest possible way, you both like love the game and love. Yeah, in the nicest possible way.
And both stubborn, though, to be fair, because Rich is stubborn.
You're very similar characters in the nicest possible way.
Yeah.
So it's actually quite nice to sit back and actually just let it unfold sometimes. They're like, go on, lads, go on. Yeah. But no, I think they both, like I said, they both want to win. That chemistry and that dynamic actually helps the whole team, which is...
I think one thing on Rich, how good of a job he's done. You look back to a year ago when, I think, were it his first game, or one of his first games? Bradford, when he got knocked. Just the journey that this group's gone on, and it lets you express yourself, doesn't he? And that's one of his best traits, I think, is he'll sit in trenches with you. He's sat on bus on the way back with us. He's just a great character, and he's been great with the young lads as well. I think a lot of the young lads have progressed massively this year.
I think what he's done brilliantly, and what hats off it, is he's brought the whole club back together in the nicest possible way. We were going off in different directions as such, as in coaching staff, players, and it was kind of not divided as such, but there was a lot of different groups going on. And I think what he's been brilliant at is to galvanise it all, bring it all back together, come with some very simplest sense principles, and then he's led the way with that. And like I said, we've all...
Yeah, he's hit nail on the head with that. That's the best thing he's done, 100%.
Jonesy said that I said, what were it like being a coach compared to... I'm not sure you were here tonight, but... So what were it like being a coach rather than player? And he said, it was weird because this group is totally different to the group they were part of. So older players who were just massively intense, Magsy, into the game.
A lot of leaders as well.
Yeah, a lot of leaders.
You mentioned in that.
You've got some young lads in your team who are really laid back. Ash Hanley, Liam Sutcliffe, I think he's been a revelation back at centre. And he said the party afterwards were unbelievable. He says, in the changing room, it's the best he's ever seen.
We just didn't stop dancing for 2 hours, did we? We got kicked. There was a knock on the door about 2 hours after the game finished. He said, right, lads, we're locking up. You need to get on your coach.
He actually said, you're only meant to have 90 minutes. You need to leave. And we were all like, no, we're not leaving.
But yeah, I think there were certain parts in that game, and what Richie touched on there, I think that togetherness and what we'd worked on all year. Look, we went a try down and you're thinking, we were playing. I actually said in the game, I think when Michaletsky dropped that pass, I said, Mickey, you're playing with anxiousness. And that's what I said, you're playing with anxiety. Boys, just relax, we're in front. Do what we've done all year and we'll win this game. Yeah, but what you mentioned there is Leeds did have a lot of leaders. When you look back, what they had is it don't come around that often, does it? So I think once our group, I think this win will be massive for us. And hopefully,
can you see this group building?
100%. Well,
you've got some great young kids as well. The next tier down, the kids who've been playing midweek, some great players.
Yeah, I think a lot of that core of our squad is quite young. Apart from me and him, but the core of it is quite young.
Speak for yourself. I'm only 30, mate.
But then again, we've got the tier younger that are ready to go. But the likes of Harry Newman, Ash Hanley, they're early 20s.
Yeah.
Them sort of players. And Michaletsky, Cam Smith, our team is kind of full of them young lads. So they're only going to get better. Cruz Lehman, Brad Dwyer, they're all like mid-20s. So it's quite a young team. And we always said we're in a kind of a rebuilding phase. But we've ended up rebuilding and winning a trophy along the way. And I think we can go on and do a lot more.
Yeah, I think that. Sorry, just to touch on Gale's point. I think the biggest thing we did as a team in pre-season wasn't anything to do with structure-wise or players-wise. It was our group dynamic and understanding what it meant to each and every one of us, and like in the nicest possible way, caring about each other. Because we were a new team pretty much, or players had come in, and we'd had a lot of people leave in the years gone by, and like all them kind of things. So to find kind of like a common ground and a common purpose really helped us, and we've managed to build on that. And obviously, this is the fruits of the labour, really. I
think one thing that stood out for me, somebody who's been around the club for the last 5 years, is seeing now how the pack have kind of stood up. You mentioned Mickey. Ava's really come to the fore, and I think Matt Pryor's been one of the most underrated signings. The guy does work, he gets through the work, and he's so consistent.
He's a machine, isn't he? And it would only be, I reckon, people who know rugby league that can go watch that game back, and we watched a bit today, didn't we? He was unbelievable. He walks off at 76th minute, didn't he?
He subbed himself.
He subbed himself.
It was that good, he subbed himself.
I think he says to Rich, right, I'll end up losing this game if you don't get me off this pitch now. And he just walks off. But he said it's the first time, Mickey Oletsky said actually, it's the first time he'd ever seen him on his haunches when he's being subbed.
I think he made every tackle in like 3 sets consistently. It was just like boom, but like tackling. So I think he just got to the point he thought, I'm off.
He's been a real unsung hero, and he's not so much. You wouldn't even know what is.
He's not going to be the one that gets all the headlines in the sense of like the big barnstorming runs and everything. But he almost cleans up everybody else.
Yeah.
So he's the guy that goes and fixes everything else in the middle.
He's the new Jonesy.
Yeah, he's the new Jonesy. And you know what? We trademark ourselves every week. And I reckon he's been 8 or above, and it's like, prisonate again. We actually give him a 9, I think, this week. But he just always scores that every week, and that's what your team needs.
Let's go over now and meet one of the characters of rugby league as he delivers another bedtime story, Mr. Tom Lynham.
Hi, I'm Tommy Lynham, and here is this week's bedtime story. Back home. Many beings set foot on this pleasant greenery, where the sun shines, the birds sing, and the trees grow. Nestled beneath its shrubbery, tigers would venture into this world, along with a pack of wolves and a herd of rhinoceros. Although they would battle for what they felt was rightfully theirs, they would share what the land had to offer them. It was an unspoken agreement to maintain the honour of the earth and all it had to bear. But one day, that all changed. A vicious and frightening storm began to infiltrate this beautiful and peaceful oasis. The land would suffer, and so would its current tenants. Many would struggle to adapt to these threatening conditions, losing important crops at a debilitating rate. The surviving animals had no choice but to retreat into hiding, leaving behind their beloved haven as it was ravished by this rampant disturbance. They would not know how long they would need to shelter from the storm. When they could go out and find food and water, the days turned into weeks, the weeks into months. The animals became weak, mentally and physically drained, having to find the will to continue to survive through this harshest of environments. They all dreamed of hopefully one day returning to their paradise, a place they felt at home, something they shared with many different creatures from themselves. They feared that they may never see their Eden ever again. As many began to lose hope in ever returning to what they grew to love and cherish, the hurricane of disaster began to subside, and finally the animals could finally set foot out of the wilderness once more. Before their eyes they witnessed mass destruction, a place in ruins, an earth that once held significant beauty now showcased mass destruction. The animals couldn't bear to see what had become of this land. Therefore the rhinos, the tigers, the wolves and all the other animals decided to work together to clean up this mess and to help each other to make this like home once again. After many days, nights, struggles and heartache, the place they knew and loved was back to how they remembered. As they all took in their hard work, a stark realization was made by each and every one of the groups. Without each other, they could and would not have been able to make this place what it was. They should treat this place as their home, as everybody's home, and learn to enjoy life and live it to its fullest.
absolutely outstanding there from Tommy Lynham. Another great bedtime story. They're out there. They are fully, he's out there.
Do you know what? His Sky interviews get me. The genius. I don't even think I've ever met him properly, but his Sky interviews are world class, and I could one of them characters who you could just watch and watch.
He's a Leeds lad. I thought you didn't know him.
No, I don't think I've ever obviously played against him a lot of years, but I don't think I've ever had a beer with him or anything like that.
Boys, notoriously after the Challenge Cup, teams drop off. Like virtually every team's done it. I think apart from the 2015 season, they kicked on. What do you say to the boys now, two senior leaders? What are you saying? I'm assuming with COVID you didn't get the chance to have the usual big blowout that you'd like to have.
No.
But what do you say to the boys? You've got Saints away coming up, back to the league, and there's still a chance, a good chance. If you can win 3 out of 4, you've got a good chance of getting back to it.
We spoke about it today, to be honest. Look, this is gone. It's kind of dust yourself off. We're back in. I think the byproduct of winning this, though, we've had to put... Barry McDermott keeps calling them the baby rhinos, doesn't he? We've had to put the baby rhinos out in, who did we play? Warrington and Catalan, didn't we?
Yeah.
And they put up a real spirited show, but we've had to kind of, the byproduct is we've lost 2 of them games. St Helens again this week, and then as you've mentioned, we've got 4 or 5 games in 13 days, something like that. It's crazy, really, but look, this is over. We've got St Helens at the weekend, and then we've got Cass twice and Wakey twice. So we need to go on a run, and I think we can.
What's it like playing against Cass for you?
I haven't done it yet.
You're not?
I haven't done it yet.
Wow.
To be fair, but Paul, I had a coffee with Paul Macca about 3 weeks ago, just before we were about to play him, and he says, "Do you know what?" He said, "I've never been as buzzed up for a game for ages to play against you."
Didn't he text you with Starman or something?
Yeah. And he says, honestly, "I'm going to chase you about that pitch for 80 minutes," and I know he will. Yeah. So I actually can't wait to go up against him.
Yeah, it's going to be good. That in Macca's really close for Man of Steel.
Yeah,
I think he's just behind Aidan Caesar at the moment.
Look, I feel for him. They're doing it tough, Cass.
Yeah.
They've got a fair few injuries. Obviously, another tough defeat on Sunday against Hull FC. And, they're going to need something from somewhere. So, look, I really want Macca to win that Man of Steel. So he just needs a kind of final push for these last 6 games, because I think he's been outstanding.
This Friday marks a year to go to the World Cup. And the World Cup is so important for the sport because it shines a light on the game, and it brings in the next generation of young people across the country who might never have heard of rugby league, as every game is on the BBC. And it's obviously the most inclusive tournament ever, with the wheelchairs, the women's and the men's all going concurrently at the same time, with the men's and women's finals being on the same day in the same stadium. First time ever. How much are you looking forward to the World Cup, Gale? Because you must be on the phone to Wayne every other day. Don't forget me, Wayne. Don't forget me.
No, first of all, look, I'm an ambassador for the 2021 Rugby League World Cup. And like you say there, it's going to be the most inclusive tournament ever, with all 3 running side by side, which is fantastic. It's in our home nation, which is also amazing. And like you say, we got so close last time, obviously a part of that, and just falling at the last hurdle. We obviously want to go on and win it, but I'm excited. I'm a rugby league fan in general, so even if I want in the tournament or not in Wayne's plans, I'll be behind the team and behind the women's and behind the wheelchair as well.
I've heard you're a bit Jamaican, aren't you, Gale? You're not in Wayne's plans.
I don't think you can get me on there, but yeah, if you're offering number 7 jersey, I'll be there, mate.
Yeah, you haven't got a patch on.
I think to touch on Gale's point, but after a year we've had, after so long, this could be a really positive thing off the back of, hopefully, we're all not in COVID again, the back end of next year, but that could be a really enjoyable, inclusive, exciting event to be a part of, which rugby league can forefront. So no, I think
brilliant.
Richie, are you only English? Do you qualify for any other teams?
No, I'm Irish, but no, I am English.
Are you going to play for Ireland? Are you putting your hand up for Ireland? Because we play Ireland.
Listen. At the beginning of this year, I could have been playing in St Pat's. So let's just enjoy it for the moment. Enjoy the trophy and see where we go. Let's leave it at that.
They have the good crack in that, apparently, with Irish.
Barry Mack loved it.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I've heard a few say.
I'm sadly not Jamaican, though.
He's not Jamaican, mate. It's going to be a great tournament. It's it's going to be interesting. And from a Jamaica's perspective, where we're speaking, quite a few boys have put their hand up recently, some young guys from around Super League, and we're really excited about the squad we're building. But from England's perspective, there's a few injuries, and it must be weird that Wayne's not had a competitive game yet, and he's going to go into 2021, and that mid-season game in June could be the only chance he's got to have to pick a team from to win a World Cup, when Australia's obviously, they're quite far ahead of us in terms of dealing with COVID, fans back in stadiums, higher level with Origin being played. It's difficult.
It is, and obviously this, what's happened in 2020 just highlights there's been no game. But having spoken to Wayne a couple of times via Zoom, me and Harry, is real focused on what we need to do as a team. I think he's got something lined up for the after this season, just maybe a bit of a camp or something like that. And then, as you say, there'll be probably one mid-season international, high-end. Maybe it's Exiles. I don't think it's been spoke about yet. But look, when you speak to Wayne, you can almost feel like the passion, and I think he'll be great as the English coach, because you can, even Harry comes off at Zoom chat and he texts me saying, that was class, wasn't it? So no, he's good, and he's a good fella, and I think he's very particular and knows exactly what he wants, and he knows exactly what to do to beat the Aussies, and he's got that in mind, and I'm sure he'll do it.
What do you reckon, Rich?
Yeah, no, I think it's vital. I think it's one of those home nation competition. You want the home nation to be doing well. And like I said, the amount of boys that are killing it in Australia, the lads that are killing it over here, like it's going to be a great competition, and hopefully it can be successful. Like I said, women, wheelchair, and rugby and men's rugby, it's going to be fantastic. But I think, just to touch on it, I think any team that Wayne's coached, you look at the Wigan, you can see them young lads all wanted to play for him.
A fellow ambassador for the World Cup with yourself is the amazing James Simpson. He's achieved so much in his chair after obviously a horrific injury, fighting for our country. And we're going to go over now and see his gratitude video for Rugby League Cares. What a bloke he is.
He is. He's a great guy. We actually saw him before the Challenge Cup. We had a quick chat. I think it was the night before. We were doing some work down there. So yeah, a fellow ambassador and a great fella as well.
Without a doubt. Let's check it out now, leading you into the break. Keep it locked right here, Free Sports, for more Rugby in Part 2. This is James Simpson saying thank you with Rugby League Cares.
Dear Martin, all right, mate, how's it going? I've had bags of time on my hands recently, and with the World Cup next year, I've been sitting back and taking some of that time to reflect on the people who've had an impact and have influenced me to become the player I am today. I remember that first session he came in as the coach, and he took over and he sat everyone down and kind of said, we want players getting selected to represent England and Scotland and Ireland, and we want to change what we're about.
He takes his army background and puts that into his rugby. You know, he's obviously well disciplined, well oiled, and made him captain, give him a little bit of responsibility, and I think that, you know, give him a real purpose within the team to obviously kick on and move forward.
It took me back to when I was in the military and how important those things were, and then it got that back out of me again. Maybe those things I'd left behind thinking I didn't need them as much anymore, and Martin managed to find that in me and bring it back out. And I think it's easy in sport to lose track of coaches and things when they move on, and I don't want to do that this time.
I was a soldier for 10 years and now I'm a rugby player, so writing down this kind of stuff doesn't come naturally. We started down the road, we had some lows but massive highs. Those standards you set for the team and set for me never let me slacken off and accept anything less than giving my all. You helped push me to become the player I could be. I was selected to represent England the following year. That was a massive honour. It was a moment that wouldn't have been possible without you there, getting that potential out of me, and most importantly, instilling that belief in myself and my abilities. I still play by those high standards you set, and I aim to carry on your legacy by instilling them into the new players coming through, to get the best out of them in the same way you got the best out of me and the other players in that squad. Take it easy, mate. Simo. To be able to have an influence on somebody's life and to still be remembered 3-4 years on after last working with them, it's quite overwhelming, to be honest.